We're here with Damon Johnson, currently Black Star Writers, doing a solo show here tonight. Most people are familiar with your name, with Thin Lizzy, Brother Kane, Black Star Writers, but you've actually done a lot more than, just those. Like, I didn't realize you played with Sammy Hagar, some of that stuff. So what else have you done people may not realize?
Well, yeah, man, just over the course of a 20-year career, I've definitely been lucky to have some cool experiences. A lot of them are more like one-offs, like the Sammy thing was great. Brother Kane had toured with Van Halen, and he invited me out to write a couple songs with him for that solo album that he put out called Marching to Mars, which was an honor, man. What a soulful human being Sammy is. I've had a couple songs that I've co-written that were recorded by some heavy acts. Stevie Nicks recorded a song I wrote called Every Day back in 2002. And Santana put a song that me and two of my friends wrote called Just Feel Better. And Steven Tyler sang the lead vocal. So both of those were, incredible experiences. Man, I've had a chance to sit in and play with some people, even some kind of one-off performances. I did a gig with Steven Tyler. He put a band together for 4 songs in Las Vegas, and the band was me and my longtime friend Marty Fredrickson on the drums, Steven on vocals, Jeff Beck on guitar, and Sting on the bass. People say, if you could have a dream band, who would be in it? That's about it right there. So I can check that off the bucket list. On playing with Alice Cooper, man, I toured with Alice for 6 years. He's my brother, and it's an incredible experience. So, yeah, I always grew up in an environment of just kind of a blue-collar work ethic. My parents were both like that. I was that way when I started playing in bands myself, and I guess if you just stay out there, man, people see you, and sometimes they're looking for somebody that does what I do, because I don't just play guitar. I can sing, I can write, and it's a good resume. I'm certainly proud of it.
Yeah. Now, when you toured with Alice, what, 4 or 5 years?
It was really actually a total of 6 years over a 8-year period of time. I was out in the middle when I was in my country band, Whiskey Falls. But I came back in 2009 and did another 2.5 years.
So on touring with Alice, what's been the craziest thing that you've participated in on stage?
Well, the very first gig I did with him was at a casino, Borgata, up in New Jersey. And, we had rehearsed the songs, and the guys in the band had helped me, like, okay, right here is where the guillotine's coming out, and this is going to happen here, and that's going to happen there. But nobody told me that when I started Is It My Body, I was the one that starts the riff on the song. Nobody told me that Alice was going to come up and lean on me with a 12-foot boa constrictor around his neck. I won't soon forget that one. That was pretty crazy. And I'm still not convinced that the guys didn't do that on purpose. Yeah, man, my time with Alice was really special. I've said it many times, I wouldn't have been ready for an opportunity like Thin Lizzy had it not been for my time with Alice.
Now, talking about Thin Lizzy, I've read interviews with you in the past that, growing up, Thin Lizzy was one of the bands for you. I believe it was Live and Dangerous was one of those top albums. So how did you get recruited into Thin Lizzy, and how surreal was that for you, growing up listening to them, and all of a sudden you're in the band?
It was totally surreal. I had met Scott Gorham, not ironically, on the golf course in London. He and Alice and I played golf together in 2006. And for me, I just thought, well, this would be my one chance to spend a little time with this guy that was a hero of mine, And it was an amazing day. Scott could not have been cooler. And we actually stayed in touch via email. He had been a fan of my Slave to the System project that I did with Scott Rockenfield. And I sent him to Whiskey Falls when that came out. He was always really encouraging and just a great guy. And he definitely realized that I was a tremendous fan, but I don't think he knew what kind of guitar player I was until he saw me play with Alice the first time was 2010, I think. I think that's right. And then again in 2011. And it just so happened that they were going to need someone to come and replace Vivian Campbell, who had been replaced by Richard Fortas. So you had two guys that were in these huge bands that just couldn't really commit full time to Thin Lizzy. So that's how it went down, man. You know, they called me, and I was still, I had dates booked with Alice, but he could not have been more amazing. You know, he told me, he says, look, man, this is an opportunity that, he goes, I've never heard anybody get an opportunity like this, you know, to get to play with their, because he knew I was a huge Lizzy fan. I used to talk about him all the time. We would play Thin Lizzy songs at sound check. Alice wouldn't be there, but me and Jimmy and Carrie and Chuck, we were always playing Thin Lizzy songs. So yeah, that's how that came together.
Okay, so the transition into Black Star Riders, how did that come about? You know, is Thin Lizzy still in existence? Is Black Star Riders pretty much just going to be the extension of that from now on? Or?
Well, to answer your first question, the reason we came up with another name was twofold. One was that it wouldn't have been right to call it Thin Lizzy without Phil Lynott in the band. Phil just cut too wide of a path, you know, because he wasn't just the front man. He wrote the songs. The guy was a poet. Certainly in Europe, particularly in the UK, the guy is an icon on the level of Johnny Cash or Elvis Presley, and deservedly so. And that's where the band's fan base is. And we had initially said in the press we were going to make a Thin Lizzy album because that's what Scott was ready to do. He knew he had some good songwriters in the band, and that together we could all come up with some stuff. So we decided to change the name out of respect to Phil, but also because we knew we had some really good songs. And we knew that it would give the songs more of an opportunity to be valued on their own merit. I mean, you could write the greatest song of all time, and it's never going to be as good as The Boys Are Back in Town. It's just not, you know? So it allowed the songs to stand on their own, and it was great for Ricky Warwick, who's an amazing talent, an amazing songwriter, an amazing frontman. I'll always give him so much credit for just having the confidence and just the gumption to go, yeah, I'm going to go front Thin Lizzy. I mean, that's a tough spot to get in. Doesn't matter who it is. So it was the right thing to do, man. And clearly now that we're 2 albums in, the band has grown in leaps and bounds. Our confidence has grown. We're improving in every facet, you know, in the studio, as songwriters, as a performing band live. So it's really special to be a part of something like that. The other part of your question, Black Star Riders is absolutely the priority right now. There's always a little chatter about some possible Thin Lizzy dates down the road, you know, with the guys, you know, with Darren and Marco and Brian Downey. But, you know, right now, man, the schedule is so busy. It's very filled with a lot of dates with the band. We're about to get into festival season over in Europe. And so, you know, maybe down the road, you know, we'll see. I know Scott has always kept that window open, but I know he's having a great time, you know, playing with Black Star Riders. Yeah.
Now in the songwriting, you co-wrote probably most of Black Star Riders material. So when you sit back and listen to that later, with because I think the music you guys have written with Ricky's voice, I mean, I don't think it could be any other way. So you know, when you listen to that, I mean, what's going on in your head when you hear him putting, you know, the voice to the music?
Well, Ricky and I have this incredible chemistry, as great of a writing chemistry as I've ever had in my career. And I know he feels a similar way. You know, when he was fronting his own band, The Almighty, you know, Ricky wrote the bulk of that stuff by himself. He's such a great writer. So I'm just really proud of the fact that he respects my input, that he's a real kind of brick and mortar songwriter. Like anything I bring him, he will give it some attention. And 99% of the time, he's got a lyric in his notebook somewhere, and he'll go, oh, this might work with that. So the writing happens very fast. actually pretty easily. And I think the proudest moments I have are those times, like you just said, that where I just step back and listen. You know, if I'm going for a run and I've got my iPod on shuffle and one of the songs comes on, I still have a lot of moments where I just go, wow, I can't believe that that's us, that we did that we wrote those songs and it sounds that great. And, you know, we're getting an incredible reaction across the pond. And, you know, on paper, we shouldn't be. You know, a bunch of 50-plus-year-old guys with electric guitars, it shouldn't be happening like that, man. And it is. And that's absolutely a testament to the songs and the quality of the live show that the band puts on.
Yeah. To say on the new album, 'cause I've been wearing Blindsided out.
Great song.
Actually, you know, my personal opinion is just as a pure rock song, probably the best one I've heard this year.
Thank you.
So was it easy to make the decision? 'Cause I got the deluxe version with the acoustic tracks on the end. Was it easy to decide to use that as one of the bonus tracks?
Oh, you're talking about Gabrielle? Because Blindsided is on the album. Blindsided is
Right.
on the full length. The bonus tracks, if I'm not mistaken, are Gabrielle and Reckoning Day.
Okay, because the one I had 3 acoustic tracks.
Oh, you know what? Well, we did an acoustic version of
Okay.
Blindsided on that second disc, but there's like a full band electric version
Right.
on the first disc. So it was a tough decision, not just determining which 2 songs were going to be the bonus tracks, but man, there's 6 or 7 other tunes that didn't even make it to the studio that are really good songs. You know, I could play you any of those right now, just the demo of Ricky and I, and you'd go, why didn't you guys cut that? I said, well, we could only do 12, and that's it. But man, Blindsided has just been my favorite song from the minute of inception. The great thing for me as a songwriter is that Ricky is always playing guitar as well, in the dressing room, in the hotel. And the way that's so cool about our chemistry is that he can play something and I'll just go, hey, play that again. Well, what is that you just played? And he'll go, I don't know. In the case of Blindside, it was a piece of music that he had tried to write something for his solo record with, that it was just an idea that he never finished. But a lot of times Ricky will play a riff a little faster than I would, so I might slow it down and give it a different feel. But I just know that I knew Blindsided was going to be special the minute I heard him play those 2 chords. It sounded very Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd or Tuesday's Gone by Leonard Skinner. That's what it reminded me of. And I just said, dude, we're going to write that and it's going to be epic. And I don't know how I knew that, but I knew it. And both records, he and I both have had 1 or 2 songs that we had sort of a bigger vision for before we got into the studio. And Blindsided was one that I knew that the band was going to love. I knew Nick, our producer, was going to love it. You wish every song could be like that, and it's not. So when you get one, it's really, really cool.
Yeah, that's great, absolutely great songs.
Thank you.
And also, you're going to be guest guitarist on that metal show this season.
Yeah, man. I'm filming that Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay, I was going to ask when that was going to. So
this April of 2015 is going to go down as the craziest, busiest month of my whole life because I'm literally driving back to Nashville in the morning, and I'm getting on a plane tomorrow night to New York, and I'm filming that metal show Tuesday, flying back Wednesday, and then Thursday, my wife and I are flying to Miami to meet Black Star Riders to go on that Monsters of Rock cruise with, 25 bands, and we'll be at sea for 4 days with that, and then we're straight into this short run of U.S. states that we're doing with Black Star Riders. So
you're doing a few of those with Europe also, aren't you?
Yeah, those guys are our friends, man. We share the same management company, and we did a co-headlining tour with them in the UK that we just wrapped up. That was fantastic. It was great for us. It was great for them. It was great for our family. So we always enjoy getting to play with them.
Now with that metal show, is that something they approached you about? I know Ricky was a guest last season.
Ricky and Scott, yeah, they were on
So, I
together.
mean, did they suggest you to them, or how?
No, they
how
did.
that
They
work?
did. You know, Jim and Don and Eddie have been such supporters of Black Star Riders from the beginning. And Eddie and I've talked about it. I know Eddie was one of the most outspoken people about not wanting us to call it Thin Lizzy. So he was relieved just when we changed the name. So when we delivered a good record, you know, then he was really pumped. But man, when those guys got the killer instinct, they blew up my email, and Ricky's and our management. They're just like, oh, album of the year, this is gonna be great. Very flattering. So yeah, they contacted Nuclear Blast, our record label, and they called me and said, hey man, the guys want you to do the show. And you know, they gave me a list of open filming dates, and this Tuesday was the only hole I had out of all the dates they gave me, because it went back into February, and we were in Europe. I'm sorry, we were in the UK with Europe, and it was literally the only Tuesday that I could possibly squeeze it in. So it's gonna be fun, man. I mean, I'm certainly not a metal guitarist. I grew up on a lot of metal, but I'll probably be the most slow hand guy they've had doing that. But I'm really comfortable with that, man. It'll just be fun. It'll be so fun to have my amps up there. And the craziest thing about the whole situation is that the two guests on the show that I'm going to play guitar on, Kirk Hammett and Michael Schenker. What? I'm going to have to punch Jim or somebody whose idea that was. It's like, there's nothing I'm going to play that's going to dazzle those guys whatsoever. We're talking about two lords of hard rock guitar. But man, it'll be great to meet those guys. And really, man, it's an honor. It's an honor. I mean, I just feel like on paper, for me to have the balls to even be on there with those two guys.
Yes, that's one we'll definitely be watching. So you're where you are right now. What was that defining moment that made you, growing up, that you felt like, hey, I got to pick up a guitar, I got to learn to play. This is what I want to do. You
know what, man? Really and truly, there were several moments. I mean, right now, as you asked me, I'd have to give a lot of credit to the first time I saw Van Halen. I saw them on the Women and Children First Tour in 1980, I think it was, and it was a religious experience. I mean, I had seen Thin Lizzy, before that, and that was a life change. It just made me fall in love with their music and the song, the lyrics and the riffs and all that. But it wasn't until I saw Van Halen that I was just consumed with the power of a band and live performance and all that. It shook me to the core. I still don't think I've recovered from that experience, So that was a big one for me. But, even a couple years before that, I had played at a talent show with my friends in junior high school. And I'll never forget that reaction either. Just the ego of being on stage and watching your friends get excited, girls get excited, even like the teachers in the school, they were just like, wow, that's really good. So here I am, 35 years later, I think I'm still kind of chasing that feeling. And it's just crazy that I'm still doing it after all this time.
So I know you got the Black Star Riders tour coming up. Is this just kind of a warm-up for that, or do you do a lot of solo stuff outside of that?
Oh, listen, man, I've been playing solo acoustic since 2000. After Brother Kane broke up, I kind of by accident fell into playing some solo acoustic stuff, and each year I've kind of done more and more and more. And it's become one of the most fulfilling things that I ever do as a musician. It's more fun even now because I have this whole variety of material to choose from. Certainly the Brother Kane stuff. I've put out 2 solo acoustic albums that have some pretty good songs on there. A few Alice Cooper tunes, then Lizzy, the Black Star Riders, and then songs by my favorite artists, So, I mean, I got 60 songs that I can do like that. So one day I just thought, wow, what if I could get a rhythm section and do the same thing? So that's essentially what I have now. Tony and Jared two of the best musicians I've ever played with in my life. Jared was our drummer in my country band, Whiskey Falls. And the other thing that makes it great is we all live in the same town, and it just makes it easier to rehearse and talk about songs and work on songs. So I just feel like the luckiest girl at the dance. You know, I got these two amazing musicians that are pushing me. They're like, hey man, let's work up Dayton, Ohio off your last solo record, or I want to do 2020 Faith off the Seeds album by Brother King. So it's fun, man, and this is a 2-week run. Tonight's the last show, and we'll definitely do some more. I'm having to kind of see how the BSR schedule plays out, but this is something I always want to have in my pocket to be able to go out and do.
But unfortunately, I don't think BSR is coming anywhere near here, are you?
Well, currently we're not. We're not, but we are consumed with wanting to come and do a proper run in the States. I'm sure it's no surprise to you or your readers or viewers. It's just so tough in 2015 for rock and roll bands. For whatever reason, rock music has really slid down the totem pole of priority for the public at large. And there's all kinds of reasons for that. Rock and roll fans are older. It's been a long time since the Beatles and Zeppelin and Van Halen and even the hair bands of the 80s, man. It's been a long, long time, and all those people have kids and jobs, and some of them have grandkids, and it's just not as much of a priority to go out and see live music as it used to be. So it makes it tough for a band like Black Star Riders. Then Lizzy never really had a big following in America. So I know our management has talked about how it was a challenge to even book Thin Lizzy in the United States. So it's even tougher to book the offshoot of that. The great thing is the new album is special. The new album is getting a lot of press. There's a lot of our peers that have been amazing and supportive, and they're talking about us. And we've really connected with a lot of people. So you never know, man. You never know how that's going to all shake out. But there's certainly a chance that we could be back toward the end of the summer, early fall.
I definitely look forward to that. Thank you for your time. It's really all I've got. And congratulations on the album. It is a phenomenal album.
Thank you, man.
Thanks
for your time, man. Good
Thank you.
talking.